You're listening to Productivity Straight Talk with your host, Amber De La Garza. She is passionate, direct, and sometimes a little sarcastic, but always gives you what you need to succeed in business. Now, here's your host, Amber De La Garza, the Productivity Specialist.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to another episode of Productivity Straight Talk. Today is episode 39. Cut the shit to simplify your business and life. If you are an entrepreneur who wants to take consistent, massive, focused action in your business and life, then you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you've joined me today. My goal is for you to figure out which tasks and activities are wasteful uses of your time so that you can eliminate them from your schedule and simplify both your business and life. In this episode, you will discover how to audit your schedule for wasteful, reoccurring activities, the tasks and activities you could easily eliminate, which tasks you could delegate and how to do so, places in your business where inefficiencies could be hiding, and so much more. So let's dive right in and get straight to it. You must simplify to multiply. Yes, you absolutely have to. You have to cut the shit. You have to cut the excess. You have to stop thinking that you need to be doing more or even everything. What you really need to do is simplify to multiply. Before you can think about adding more to your plate as you're likely already redlining, you have to eliminate. Reclaim time and invest it in your highest and best activities. Eliminating is essentially reclaiming your time. You have to reclaim your time so that you can reinvest it in the activities that are going to get you the biggest results. And before you just haphazardly start eliminating things, my first recommendation is that you audit your time. You need to know, where is your time being spent right now? Where are you currently investing it and not getting the return back that you desire? I want you to audit your time both personally and professionally. You see, as entrepreneurs, the lines are blurred. And so just auditing your time professionally and in your business may not be where you find the excess. Maybe it's in your personal life, or vice versa, or a little bit of both. I want you to track your time, just like you would if you were, let's say, on a diet and tracking calories or what it is that you ate or how often you exercised. You see, anything that you want to get better at, you have to track. And I'm sure you're listening to this podcast because you want to get better at investing your time. So it makes sense that you need to start with auditing your time. So you may be asking, how do you audit your time? I want you to track your time every 15 to 30 minute increments. I want you to know exactly what you're spending your time on. I want you to be able to reflect back and look at, where is this time being spent? I had a client, she was a CPA, and when I first started working with her one-on-one, the very first thing I did with her, like many of my clients, is do a time audit. And so she was extremely organized. I mean, her calendar was color-coded. Her desk was perfectly cleaned off. And yet she really couldn't still find the time to invest in her best activities. She just didn't feel like she was maximizing her productivity. So as I said, the first thing we did was look at her time. And when we did, I looked at and found a reoccurring networking event on her calendar. It was inconspicuous. It was twice a month. The luncheon was an hour and a half. It didn't really ever seem that big until you really sat down and looked at the numbers. You see, she had to drive there, so it was a half an hour there and a half an hour back. So now we're looking at 2.5 hours. Then you multiply 2.5 hours by the 2 meetings she had a month, and now you're at 5 hours a month. That is almost an entire workday a month. But more so because she was very clear about what her hourly rate was, which for her was about $125 an hour. These meetings were essentially costing her $625 a month. Now, that was just drive time and actual time at the event, but you also have lost in momentum. So the meetings were smack in the middle of the day, so she wasn't really keen to scheduling client appointments right up until the time she had to leave, nor did she schedule them right when she was supposed to get back in case she got caught in a conversation or in traffic. So if you add a buffer of about 30 minutes on each side of that, you can see that this time is escalating. Now, $625 a month may not sound like that much, but over 12 months, that's $7,500. So the next question was simple. How many referrals have you gotten from it? Well, she was very clear about that. She knew to the penny, because she was a CPA, how much money she had made based off of referrals. But what she was not so keen on was how much those meetings were actually costing her. So now that she had both sides of the equation, it was clear that this was not the best investment of her time, because she was not getting back in referrals anywhere near the amount of time or money being invested in this networking event. Because it wasn't free, and she had to buy her lunch, and she had a monthly membership. So now we're getting in the upwards of maybe $8,500 a year for something that looked so innocent on her schedule. A simple 2-time a month, hour-and-a-half luncheon. You see, these are the types of activities that creep up and start multiplying. So when you're looking at your schedule and you're looking at auditing places in which you can either eliminate by not going to anymore, it's often the reoccurring events that when you delete them, you get the compounded effect of over and over every time you would have had that activity or meeting happen, whether it be bi-monthly or weekly or even just monthly. So what does this mean for you? Do you know how much your time is worth? I mean, do you really know? Perhaps you're in a service industry where you have an amount that you charge per hour for your clients. Well, as a business owner, you and I both know that you are not booked 40 hours a week at that high rate. However, it is your job to value your time as if you could book that time out. And what I mean is that if you are a professional or a service provider and you charge your clients $150 an hour or $300 an hour or $500 an hour, you need to be filtering all of these opportunities and meetings and activities through, is it best use of your time? Because for every minute that you're spending in activities that do not generate you that level of income, you are not investing in activities that will multiply your revenue. Now, I get it. You couldn't possibly have 40 hours of billable time, that it truly does take a lot of other time to build up your business. But it is your job to look at every opportunity and filter that through. Is this the best use of my time? And my favorite exercise is to simply identify how much is your time worth. But let's just say you do not have a dollar amount you charge your clients per hour. Maybe you're a coach and it's not an hourly rate, or a real estate professional. I want you to take your goal. So what is your revenue goal for the year? Now, let me be clear. I did not say how much did you make last year. I want you to go based off of what your goal is, because you need to act as if that is how much your time is worth today. You need to treat your time as if you're already making that amount of money. So let's say that your goal is $250,000 in revenue. I want you to divide $250,000 over 52 weeks. And then take that number and divide it over the number of hours you want to work a week. So for some of you, you want to work 40 hours a week. For others of you, you want to smash that goal of $250,000 revenue in 30 hours a week. So you need to divide that into how many hours are you investing in your business. And then you're going to get that magic number. How much is your time worth? Because then from this point forward, your goal is to fill up activities on your calendar and tasks with activities that are worth that dollar amount. I want you to literally write that dollar amount out and stick it on a Post-it note on your computer screen or wherever you will see it daily. Now, this is probably the only time you'll ever hear me say, stick a sticky note somewhere, but I want it to be visible and I want you to be reminded of that dollar amount every day. Because so long as you are doing $10 an hour work, you will never be able to make $250,000 in revenue. And so once you have that number, it gets so much clearer about what you need to delete, what you need to delegate, and what you need to say no to. So next, I'm going to share with you those 3 methods. How do you determine what gets deleted? How do you determine what should get delegated? And how do you determine what you simply need to say no to ensure that you're filtering all of the activities and everything that you're investing your time in with things that get you closer to achieving your goals? The first of the 3 methods I'm going to share with you on how to eliminate to cut the shit is to delete. Peter Drucker says, there is nothing as useful as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all. But the question remains, how do we know if it shouldn't be done at all? I believe that the simplest way to determine whether something should be done or not done is to filter it through your goals and vision of success. Does that activity or meeting directly tie to you achieving your vision of success? Because if you can't contribute investing your time into that activity, getting you closer to your goals, then it's taking you away. It's dragging out the time that it's going to take you to get to those goals, to make that revenue, to service those amount of clients, to do what it is that you intended to do. Everything that does not support your goals is a distraction. And so the easiest thing to do is list all the things that you do, or in fact, all the things that you and your team do. So an easy way to do this is to ask each of the people that work for you, whether it's independent contractor or employee, to list out all of the things that they do, the activities, the meetings they attend, and you're also going to be doing this for yourself. And if you're a solopreneur, it all falls under you. Once you have a full list of all the activities that you do to run your business, I want you to filter those through your goals. I want you to identify in 2 columns, to do or to not do. And most importantly, I want you to fill up the to not do list. What is it that you're going to delete? What is it that is no longer useful? You see, just because something served you well before doesn't necessarily mean it serves you well now. Our goals change, seasons of our life and our business change, technology changes, the way in which we go after our goals change. And so once you've evaluated the straightest path between you and your goals, if these activities do not help you get there, they're actually distracting you from getting there. I by no means am going to tell you that this is easy because deleting things sometimes feels overwhelming. It often feels scary. Like, what if I don't do that anymore? What if I do not continue down that path? But only you can be ruthless. You have to be ruthless with the time that you invest in what activities you're investing them in. I want you to look at reoccurring meetings, committees, boards. I want you to look at the way that your business processes work and your workflows. There is a lot to be deleted when there are business inefficiencies. You can look at unnecessary steps and processes that once served you well, but now you're doing them just because you always did them. Or worse, you have Frankenstein processes because you have multiple technology, either programs or platforms that you use a little bit of this and then you patch it together with a little bit of that, and then you end up with a Frankenstein system. And as processes are evolving over time and needs change, so do the programs we use. And oftentimes I have found that it's the lack of learning what the programs can do and thinking that you're going after the next shiny object or program or promise that that is going to do what it is you need to do, when the whole time you had it all in one. So the best way to create more efficiency in your business is to ensure that you're using programs that either integrate seamlessly or it's an all-in-one solution. Another common way that there are inefficiencies in business is to have impromptu meetings with our staff, meaning you don't have a regular reoccurring time that you meet with them. So they're always trying to reach out to you, get your attention, and have you review something at maybe not very opportune times. So my recommendation is that you have regular reoccurring meetings that do not get pushed, that do not get canceled. Because when you can count on them, you can be prepared for the meeting. And when they count on those meetings, things that are not necessarily urgent can wait until you have that meeting with them. So there's a lot more efficiency that you're not getting interrupted all of the time and you're deleting all of those unnecessary interactions because you're both working up towards that reoccurring meeting. Some of your staff, maybe it's a meeting once a day to tee them up for what they need to be focused on. For other members of your staff, perhaps it's once a week. It really just determines on how much they need guidance to do their job. But as long as you can batch that together, you are certainly creating more efficiency. Which brings me to another tip, which is batching. When you batch, you are always deleting inefficiencies in your business. You can actually batch just about anything. And this is one of my favorite productivity tips. You can batch emailing. You can batch making phone calls. You can batch creating content, whether it's writing articles or creating and producing podcasts or recording a podcast. You can batch out following up with clients. Anything that you do on a reoccurring basis, if you can lump like items together, you're going to already be in the mindset. You will already be in the flow. And that in itself is creating a lot more efficiency. Another way to create efficiency in your business is to utilize templates. So if you write the same email or a similar email frequently, it should be templated. No longer do I want you to ever be writing an email from scratch. If we slow down and look at our business, we realize that we have a lot of the same interactions with our clients. So if you can create templates, what it allows you to do is actually create a higher level of customer service because it's a well thought out email. And then when you go to send that email, you are just tweaking it and customizing it a little bit and not starting from scratch. So if an email once took maybe 8 minutes, you can maybe get it down to 3 minutes. And every time you send that email out, you're reclaiming or deleting the 5-minute inefficiency in your business. So as you can see, there are so many different ways to create more time and simplifying your business and life by simply deleting. The next method I want to share with you is delegation. Now, this is one of my favorite, but to be honest, this is the most challenging for many. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think that most people are challenged with delegating? All right, I almost could hear you if you were trying to answer me, and my guess is that you probably said something like, well, I can do it better than they can do it, or it takes me longer to show them how to do it than if I just do it myself. Well, the truth is that for you to invest your best time into your best activities, you're going to have to invest in others with both your time and financially. You may believe that it's more cost-effective to complete a task yourself. That's not always the case. You need to consider not only the monetary cost, but the opportunity cost. According to Jeff Shore, too many business owners impede their revenue growth doing everything just to save a few bucks. Is that you? Do you think that you should be doing it or you can do it better or that you're saving money? You see, there's only so much time in the day. And remember earlier in the episode, I was telling you the value of your time? How much is your time worth? If you're spending it on activities that you could otherwise be paying someone a lot less per hour, you're losing that opportunity to book that time at your hourly rate that you should be demanding from your clients. That's an opportunity cost. If you're unavailable to do your high revenue generating activities because you're stuck in the mud of your other bucket that I like to refer to as your administrative, your tasks, your errands, the things that are delegatable, then you are certainly not maximizing your profitability. As I said before, the other reason that people generally do not delegate is that they think that they're more qualified than the person that they're asking to do it. Meaning you know how to do it, they don't know how to do it, and it takes far longer to explain it to them than if you just did it yourself. But I want to share with you a motto from one of my clients. Her name is Heather Nunez, and she is the learning director at Cartier International. And I was sitting down chatting with her about delegation, and she shared this with me. And she said, my motto is that I move it from my to-do list to their to-learn list. I move it from my to-do list to their to-learn list. Because, it's an investment. You might be thinking short term that, yeah, you can do that task faster, but every time they do that task, you're getting a return on that investment. So if the task were to take 10 minutes, but it takes the 30 minutes to teach them, it would only take them 3 times before you're getting a return on that investment, that every time they do that task, now that they're trained, you don't have to do it. You're reclaiming that 10 minutes every single time. So again, for you to invest your time in your highest, best activities, you're going to have to invest in others. The next question that you may have is what to delegate. Delegating tasks empowers others and gives them a chance to learn. Tasks that may feel like burdens to you could feel like blessings to them. What you're delegating may not be your best activities, but it may be theirs. When you're looking to delegate activities, it's not just the activities that perhaps you're not very good at, but the activities that when filtered through your vision of success and your goals that you're not uniquely qualified to do is a great place to start to identify tasks that can be delegated. I break up delegating tasks into 2 different categories. The first one is specialized tasks. So these are things in which you might hire an independent contractor for, or someone that is specially trained at that particular activity. This may be a graphic designer, an audio editor, a video editor, someone that does your branding and your marketing, or a bookkeeper. These are all project-specific and very specialized tasks. Generally, for a small business or solopreneur type of company, these are going to be outsourced. Even larger companies, you're not going to find even the people on staff or the business owner doing website development or website design. So these are hiring and delegating based on specialized skill sets. The other bucket of hiring is unskilled tasks. This is much easier to consider. So I want you to think of unskilled tasks that you can generally be completed by anyone for a much lower wage than you are demanding from your clients. Administrative tasks like filing, copying, ordering supplies, maybe processing your emails, booking flight arrangements, running errands for you, picking up your dry cleaning. All of those are perhaps unskilled tasks that don't take a high level of training, but do take away from your time invested in your high value activities. Now, I am talking about specifically delegating in business, but you know what? You can find a lot of reclaimed time and simplification in your life by delegating tasks and responsibilities at home. When I started my business, the very first time I started creating revenue and profits, I hired a maid because I wanted someone to come in and clean my house. I didn't want to spend 2 Saturdays a month away from my family cleaning my home. I wanted to reinvest that time in family activities or, simply relaxing because I worked really hard throughout the week. You can also often find a lot of leverage in home tasks and responsibilities at a lower rate than you would in your business. So I think that you need to have a combination of both. There are delivery services for your groceries. I have someone that washes my car twice a month. I have someone that grooms the dog. These are all responsibilities and errands and tasks that I would otherwise be doing. And when I can leverage that way personally, what that does is allow me to either invest more time in my business or more time with my family. And those are my 2 highest priorities. There is a lot of mindset about delegating. When do you start and is it all or nothing? When I'm coaching my clients and they do not have any kind of support, they're solely a solopreneur, we look at how you can graduate into additional help and leverage through delegation by building your team as your business grows. So initially, you might start off with a few project-based independent contractors, utilizing specialized skill sets, social media, someone that does your branding, someone that can help with your website, your bookkeeper. So those would be, I would say, your first level. And then your next level would be having someone on a consistent basis, not project-based, but perhaps part-time. And you can do this by having a virtual assistant. You can share an assistant. So if you want to find someone that's more high caliber that needs a full-time hours, perhaps you can share half time with another entrepreneur in your co-working space or your community or someone in your mastermind group. That's a great way to get a higher level of help because they require full-time when your business isn't quite ready for full-time. You can also actually just hire part-time and let them know that this could grow into full-time work. The other option is to have a couple part-time administrative, marketing, different roles in your company so that no one's quite full-time, but they all have specific roles based on their unique talents. Then you can go into full-time and then you can hire a few employees. You see, your staff and your leverage around you should grow as your business grows, because as you are hiring and looking at delegating and leveraging, you're utilizing that so that you can spend a majority of your time in your highest and best activities, which, for me, based on episode 35, productivity plus profitability, and why you need both to succeed in business, that I think that there should be 3 main buckets that every entrepreneur is focused in. And that is marketing. That's so visibility, getting people to know you and your brand, having sales conversations, and servicing your clients. And the 4th bucket is the administrative, the other bucket, all the things that it takes to run your business, but not directly tied to revenue. So you're first going to want to get help in the other bucket, the 4th bucket. Once you have enough support in your 4th bucket, your non-revenue generating activities, then you can start leveraging out by having someone do all of your marketing or to do sales conversations for you. Or perhaps you're looking at someone servicing your clients, all in an effort to duplicate your efforts in your business, which at the end of the day should be multiplying your revenue and therefore multiplying your profits. The 3rd and last method I want to share with you is just saying no. Up until now, we've been looking at how do you delete from what you're already doing? Or how do you delegate from tasks that you're already doing? If we stopped right there, then no matter how much you simplified, going forward, you're going to keep adding to it. And we don't want to do that. So the best way to ensure that once you simplify, you keep it simplified is to learn to say no. And I'm going to break this up into 2 sections. One is saying no to others, and the other is saying no to yourself. Warren Buffett has been quoted saying the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Did you hear that? Successful people say no to almost everything. When you say yes to people asking things of you, like a favor or volunteering or opportunities, you're saying yes to them and you're saying no to yourself. You need to have a game plan together to learn what it is that you will say yes to and what you will say no to. Otherwise, you'll say yes to everything and your calendar will be full again with play dates and parties and dinners and functions and all of these things that you've tried to eliminate off your calendar, but because you can't say no, they're going to end up right back on there. Saying no to others can often be a little bit difficult. Everyone has their different way of saying no. For my husband, his no sounds like this: no. And he'll literally be done with the conversation. That's powerful. And I have learned so much from him about saying no, because there was a time that my no would be followed up with an explanation and the reason why and guilt. And he asked me one day, he said, Amber, after you tell them no, do you think that they care about anything else that you're saying? And I had to give that some thought, but it's true. They didn't care. All they heard was no. In fact, any reason that I gave them past no generally gave them an in on how to change my no to a yes. So I am empowering you to go find your voice. How is it that you're going to say no? How can you say no and hold firm, and that your no's mean no's and your yeses mean yeses? That is really, really powerful, because we all want to be impeccable with our word. And when we say yes to everything, we often don't show up in the way that we want to show up. That we may say, yes, we're going to help volunteer for something, and we have one foot in and one foot out because we're distracted with everything else that's vying for our attention. Rather, I would love for you to say, no, this isn't a good time for me right now. that perhaps later down the road, it is a better time for you where you can give it your sole focus. Only you know that. So you really have to be clear with your boundaries, which was a recent episode as well about boundaries. You need to understand what those are so that you can communicate that to others. The second way that I want you to learn to say no is to yourself. We have a ton of passive time wasters, scrolling Facebook all night, into the night, past the time you said you were no longer going to be scrolling Facebook. You Netflix, or perhaps you're drinking caffeine and coffee later in the afternoon so that you're staying up late, not productively, but just kind of wired. Or you're spending your time catching up on celebrity gossip magazines and shows that really don't have any value for you. Perhaps you're overcommitted to extracurricular activities for your kids. Is that really helping you with the simplified life that you desire? You need to have boundaries in which you will commit to for yourself. If you are going to say no to caffeine afternoons so that you can get a good night of sleep, I am championing for you to do that because a lot of us need more sleep, but we're sabotaging that by eating poorly and drinking caffeine and scrolling Facebook. That in itself, by saying no to yourself, to those time wasters, allows you to reinvest your time in the activities that matter and thus give you the simplified life that you're looking for. As we close up this episode, and in an effort to simplify to multiply, I covered 3 different ways that you can eliminate the shit to have a more simplified business and life. The first one was to delete. The second was to delegate. The third was to say no, both to others and to yourself. So based on what you learned today, what will you take action on? Meaning, what can you commit to right now that you will delete from your schedule? What will you delegate? And what is something that you can say no to? If you find just one activity or task in each of these 3 categories, you will be on your way to simplifying. And once you realize how much easier it is, I know that you will be addicted to deleting, delegating, and saying no. I have loved having you listen to Productivity Straight Talk. But I need to be straight with you. No change, no change. Without taking action, nothing will change for you or your business. So I'm inviting you to take a moment and identify and truly think about what can you delete in an effort to simplify before you multiply. To share your actionables and receive support, guidance, and motivation from entrepreneurs just like you, join us over on the inside of our Productivity Straight Talk community. You can join for free by going to productivitycommunity.com. Again, that's productivitycommunity.com. And as always, if you've enjoyed this episode, please share it. Give a gift to another entrepreneur by sharing this episode that you think would be valuable for them. And I wanted to let you know that I'm still offering the free success breakthrough sessions. I have had so many of you take me up on by applying for this free success breakthrough session. And if you've been thinking about it or on the fence, or maybe this was your first episode, I'm inviting you to click on over to successbreakthroughsession.com and apply today for 30 minutes of one-on-one time with me, and I will show you how to reclaim 5 hours per week. And when you reclaim that time, I am gifting you 5 hours of sleep, quality time with your spouse or your children or your fur babies, getting to the gym, or perhaps investing it back into your business so that you can create more profits. Whatever you decide to do with that time, it starts with a breakthrough. So head on over to successbreakthroughsession.com, complete the simple application. You know, who am I looking for? I'm looking for entrepreneurs who are action takers, who need a breakthrough so that you can live the life and business that you desire. So that's my straight talk for you today. And until next time, have a productive week.